don't ride for nobody, no badge, no crew. Truth don't play favors, it just come through. I don't take sides, I take time and review. So to put it, let the context break through. If you clean, that stamp stay true.
Good day and welcome to another installment of In Plain Sight. We got a doozy today. It'll make you wonder how people get to this point, especially young people. The premise is quite disturbing, but again, we cover them so that we can understand the psyche of humans in some way. I don't know if you'll come away understanding it, but you'll know the story by the time we're done. Apparently, this young man did something to his family member, and we're gonna jump into what exactly that was. Let's find out.
Did you see all the sirens and stuff?
I heard them, but I didn't know the word.
Yeah. Well, there was a fire at your apartment or at the trailer.
Is my grandma okay?
No.
Tuesday, April 19th, 2022, Mountain View, Missouri. In the small community of Howell County, an emergency call alerted authorities to a house fire on Falk Street. When first responders arrived, the blaze had already consumed much of the interior, and inside they found 62-year-old Phyllis Schweinel, who did not survive. The speed with which the fire had spread and the lack of an immediate explanation for its origin led investigators to suspect early on that this was not a simple accident, and what at first seemed like a domestic tragedy would soon reveal a far more complex scenario. I'm Tyler, and this is your daily dose of crime.
Now, if what we see in the intro happened for real, then we're in for something. We're really in for something.
And supporting the channel.
You live at 330? Yeah? Do you know what's going on over there?
No, I've been out walking all morning.
Okay. Well, there was a fire at your apartment or at the trailer, and
Is my grandma okay?
no, she was inside. I'm sorry to tell you that, buddy.
I don't think he is. I'm just going again. Limbs are out there for me to walk on for a reason, I think, and I'm walking on one right now. It's not sunshine; it's a limb that he don't really have a sad bone about that. Let's find out if I'm right.
Wow.
Oh,
That's,
he just became a Minecraft NPC.
it's a lot.
Yeah. There's no good way to say. Just gotta lay it on, rip it off like a band-aid as far as talent goes.
Right.
So, you said you've been out walking all morning.
Yeah.
Where were you at?
I took a walk down the road towards the church over in WW,
Okay.
and then I walked back this way.
Okay.
I was about to head back home, actually.
Oh, okay. Did you see all the sirens and stuff?
I heard them, but I didn't know the word.
Yeah. Do you have? Where's your shoes?
I was barefoot.
I used to do that when I was a kid. I used to. I learned the hard way. Don't do that. But I used to. So back in the day, kids used to do a lot of crazy. I mean, shoes were kind of mandatory, but kind of not. But these days, you just walk out the house without shoes. You don't strike me as the kind of person that touches earth a lot. So I don't think that would be a thing that you do normally. Okay, well, let's see if you got a reason for that.
You walk barefoot?
Sometimes.
Okay. So I was told by someone over there that maybe you and your grandma had maybe some kind of disagreement last night.
That's why I was walking.
Okay.
We argued again this morning, and I just needed to take a break, I guess.
You guess.
Okay.
Me and her have been having a lot of fights.
Okay. Would you? What about?
Well, the last 2 years have been really rough and stuff, and
Okay.
here lately has been really rough on both of us and stuff,
Been rough.
financially and everything. It's been a lot for both of us, and we've been fighting about that stuff a lot.
Yeah.
How I should do more and stuff. And I have been trying a lot.
Right. So I've gotten told like that you're 19, and then someone said you're 22, 21.
I'm 19.
You're 19. What's your birthday? Okay.
Sitting with officers is 19-year-old Jacob Hearn, who had lived with his grandmother for the past decade.
Ooh. Ooh. 10 years of fighting, bro. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that that's not new. That whole bickering is not a day or two old, or even a month old. I will bet you some cash. Probably most of the 10 years.
His life was marked by instability, no job, no clear direction, and full dependence on her for support. That relationship did not function as a bond of care, but more like a mutual dependence that had been building tension over the years.
Well, it can't be mutual dependence, because if it was mutual dependence, then she'd be fine with him being there. You get what I mean? So maybe that's not what you mean, mutual dependence. Maybe it is a one-way dependence of him depending on her for everything, and she getting sick and tired of that leech behavior.
And now, questioned by the police, Hearn insists he had only gone out for a walk and never connected the sound of sirens to his own home. What unsettles the investigators is not only the calmness of his tone, but the way with which he seems to anticipate each and every question, offering detailed explanations as though he were trying to control the narrative from the start.
That makes him kind of smart, but also kind of dumb. Don't do too much, people.
For officers, this raised the first pressing question. Were they listening to a grandson blindsided by tragedy, or the only witness who truly knew what happened inside of the home?
Because apparently, I don't know where people's getting their information, but you were somewhere between 19 and 150, I guess. So what time did you start your walk?
I believe it was around 10:30ish.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
How long have you been here?
I just went back into the park, actually. I sat down over there for a few minutes, but my feet were hurting, so I came over to the grass.
I got you. Okay. Someone also said you were a felon. You're a felon? Okay. What's the story with that?
Yeah, what's the story with that?
2016 stuff. Me and my mother got attacked
Oh.
by two individuals. One was, they were both they were addicts. And they were also snitches for the local police department in Over Farms, Missouri.
Okay.
My mom was worried because she thought they were trying to kidnap me. And so she came to get me. And one of them, the lady and stuff, her name was something. She attacked her and was trying to kill my mother.
Oh, wow.
And I stepped in to save my mom. I was 14. And I ended up, the lady ended up dying.
Oh, wow.
I was just trying to save my mother's life.
Good story. Really good story. Probably true, probably not true. Don't know, don't care. Here's why I don't care. It tells me life taking ain't that big of a deal for him.
I got you.
It was a hard thing.
I can imagine. Gotta ask.
Right.
You said you were 14?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. I'm sorry that even happened.
It's the story of my life.
Yeah. So there's quite a bit of damage to the house. It's still intact, but there's pretty significant smoke damage.
Jeez.
Yeah. Once you hop in my car, and we'll go down there real quick and kind of. Have you seen anything down there?
I have not.
Okay.
I
Well,
didn't walk that way yet.
Okay. Well, we'll let you see what's going on there. And do you have shoes anywhere? No.
They're in the house.
Okay.
You know what my number one flag for this young man is? This is the flag. This is a big flag for me. it is partially the nonchalant behavior that he has. Yes, that's a big one. But they mentioned that the house is, pretty much unlivable. So what was his end game? If the house burned, nowhere to live, what was his end game? Like he's barefoot, so he's apparently already mentally trying to get used to the idea of having nowhere to live. That's wild. That's wild.
Okay, well, you got stronger feet than I do, because I'd be crying like a little girl. You can just hop in the passenger seat. They're on the other side. I got a bunch of junk in there.
As the conversation continues, Hearn introduces elements that further unsettle the
I want to hear
officers.
that.
He describes constant arguments with his grandmother as if they were an ordinary part of life, then shifts to recounting violent episodes from his past. He claims to have defended his mother from 2 attackers and even admits to killing one of them. The casual way with which he speaks about such an extreme event without showing visible signs of distress alarms the investigators. From a psychological standpoint, his account reflects how some individuals construct narratives that alternate between portraying themselves as victims of a hostile environment and justifying extreme actions. The contrast between the gravity of his words and the calm manner with which he delivers them raises much deeper questions. Were these authentic memories, or a carefully shaped story intended to influence how he was perceived?
They could be both. It could be real, and he is using it to craft that narrative. Look, it would be a great thing if it were to happen like he did say, the murder that he did and the beating of the person, the protecting his mom. So he's able to take a life. But the reasons from which he took a life leads people to believe that he's mentally scarred from it, even though he's trying to keep a stoic exposure to the outside. I get it, but it could be that he is trying to tell people, see, I've been through so, and he kept saying that too. I've been story of my life. I think he's more crafting the idea that I've been through a lot, and sometimes I snap after being through so much.
Did someone from the fire department come talk to you first about getting a hold of Red Cross for you? Red Cross. When there's a house fire and you lose a bunch, they call Red Cross, and they help you kind of get back on your feet with some essentials and stuff. Would you be willing for that? I mean, since you don't even have shoes.
All I really have right now, considering you said the whole house is damaged and stuff, is what I'm wearing. So
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of to my
okay.
point.
Yeah. We can get a hold of those guys for you.
They're going to call Bethany. Bethany went to the bank real quick. She'll be back.
Okay. So Bethany's going to do that?
Yeah.
I told her to go ahead and do it. Okay. So they're going to call them for you. Okay. So we're just going to keep hanging out here for a little while.
Did they figure anything out?
They got, all they said was, well, I didn't really understand it. Honestly, they're still looking. Fires, I don't know the first thing about looking into them, so I don't know. But whenever they get a chance, a couple of them were on the phone. I'm going to see if I can bend their ear for a minute. But I'll just giving you an update, okay? They did remove her, okay? Just to get her away from me.
How bad was it?
It's pretty significant. Okay.
I think he wants to know the details to make sure that what he did worked. I don't think it's care. I think he's just trying to make sure that what he did to her, it had worked and she's dead. I'm thinking they're going to find something more than just fire damage to her body. I'm going to bet you they find stab wounds. I'm going to bet you that they possibly might even find a gunshot wound. Or at minimum, head trauma. Let's see if I'm right.
She wanted to be, if she died before me and stuff. She said she wanted to be put to ashes and put around where her grandpa and her mother and father were buried.
Oh, okay.
That was all she told me.
I see.
So much.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot. You guys have any waters or anything?
Yeah.
You want a water? You thirsty?
Very thirsty.
I think they got some waters on this truck. They may not be cold, but it's wet. So.
Other than sitting here gulping down my saliva.
Yeah. So he's going to get you fixed up there. It's just kind of a hurry up and wait thing, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
It's fine. Hopefully the numbness will go away soon.
Numbness, like just like emotional or physical?
Emotional.
Yeah, I understand. That's a lot. I know.
Now, again, it could be that he is actually not guilty, and that this is just how he's processing because it's so much. It could be that he is absolutely wrecked on the inside because somebody started a fire or a fire started and took out his favorite grandma. But the winks are telling you I don't believe it. But I'm just letting you know that might be a possibility. It could be.
I mean, especially when it's one of those situations where you just got them fighting and said the most hurtful things to each other, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't I love you, I'll see you, I hope you have a good day and stuff. It was, hope I don't come back, you know, or something like that.
Right. God, I completely understand, man. I do. And I really, truly am sorry for the whole situation. I really am. But just, if you just be patient with me, we'll get you sorted out here, okay? It may be a little bit. I don't know where the Red Cross comes from normally, but we'll
Probably Springfield.
I don't know. I've seen him show up quick, but I don't know when they call him. So we'll give you all the help we possibly can. Okay. All right. Best as can be, anyway. Okay. Okay. Well, I shouldn't have to take off like that again. So my offer to sit in the seat and sit in my car if you need to still stands. All right. Just holler at me and I'll unlock it for you.
You see, the biggest issue I have with him, the kid, 19, the adult now, is for all the flags that he's putting out. He thinks in his mind that this is as far as it's going to go. They're not going to suspect him. Yeah, we've had a fight. Yeah, that is, but I wasn't there. I wasn't around. Here's going to be where I think he's going to get caught up. His time frame of how long it would take him to get somewhere versus when the fire started, which they can tell almost to the minute, probably ain't going to line up. And he's not thinking efficiently right now because of shock and trying to avoid guilty looking. He's going to miss that. That's why I think they're going to catch him. That's what I think.
Where are they at?
My cousin.
Okay.
Frisco was closer and stuff.
Okay. So someone's coming over. Good deal. Good.
Hopefully I won't be completely alone.
Yeah, hopefully not. So good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm gonna find out what's going on here, but like I said, just holler and I'll unlock it, and you feel free to sit in there. Got air conditioning and heat if you're hot or cold. So I don't like to get uncomfortable. So
Nice cop. I can't say nothing about him.
Very tight space.
yeah,
But
ain't
so
much I
big.
can do about that one.
That's a big 19-year-old. He's tall, too.
In the following minutes, Jacob's focus drifts toward minor details. He mentions having no shoes, needing clothing, and the possible assistance of the Red Cross, as if these practical concerns outweighed the loss of his grandmother.
To be fair, he didn't mention them. They mentioned it to him. He didn't want nothing. He didn't want a thing. He just wanted to be sitting down, absorbing the fact that he might possibly maybe set up things to have his grandmother ended. But he didn't need those things. They suggested that he did.
To investigators, this choice of priorities would be telling. It suggested an emotional avoidance strategy with which the trivial served as a shield against confronting the weight of what had just happened. When told his grandmother had already been removed from the home, he asked how she looked, only to immediately remark that she had wanted to be cremated. The abrupt shift from concern to detachment would reveal a disconnection that was difficult to ignore. And adding to that, he recalled her telling him before he left she wished he would never come back. For officers, that comment introduced a new dilemma. Was he describing a toxic coexistence or trying to plant the idea that she had anticipated her own end?
I think he already told us that there was a toxic mix between the two of them. Pretty sure he said that.
needs to get into the West Point. So
Yeah.
you gotta be all in quality.
Yeah.
I'd still, man. I've always been curious about people who might possibly have that mental tendency to do stuff like this. That's just, there's so many other options. You know what I'm saying? I guess I just don't get it.
You go, man. Just wear this one like a shirt, okay, over the top.
All right.
I'm assuming they're bringing him in for more questioning inside a building as opposed to outside. Usually the only reason they put that outfit on them is so that they have something to wear.
Well, just to get you over to county, and then they'll get you a new, different suit that'll actually fit you probably. They said you can keep your glasses too. You're fine. Take a seat there until I figure out if we're leaving right away, okay? We're leaving right up. Right now.
So more than likely what's going to happen,
Yep.
they'll test
Thank
his
you.
clothing to see if there's any
All right, Jacob.
traces of stuff that was in the house that might be linked to the fire.
We'll go right back out the way we came in, okay?
All right.
We're getting the same car.
This is one of those cases where I think the more quiet he stays, the more sinister he becomes.
That door didn't shut all the way.
Like it's almost scary
I don't think
these
that door
people.
shut all the way.
that can think like this, do this kind of stuff. If he did,
Yep.
because I'm leaning towards he definitely did this, and be so aloof to, disconnected from the event. Like he really don't give a damn. Like look at his face.
Too tight?
Really don't care.
Fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Trauma, intent. I don't know, but he
As
he don't
officers
care.
offer him water, clothing, and the chance to contact relatives, Jacob remains distant and mechanical.
Mhm.
Rather than showing grief, he states that he won't be entirely alone since he has extended family in another town. That cold, detached posture in a moment when most people would show visible despair painted an ambiguous picture. Either a young man exerting rigid control over his emotions or someone who was unwilling to reveal a grief he did not feel. Eventually, he's handcuffed and placed under custody, but by then, investigators had already determined the fire was deliberately set. Hearn had ignited a coat and placed it behind the chair where his grandmother was resting after taking pills, and that finding would redefine everything he had set up to that point. The calmness, the focus on trivialities, and the absence of mourning appeared less like shock and more like the construction of a story to conceal responsibility.
I get it, but also remember, there has already been a detachment between him and grandma. That detachment has been happening because she wanted him to work, for his words, and he didn't want to do nothing around the place. So again, I can understand his detachment to hearing that she is dead, even if he didn't do it. In his mind, with all the fighting that they've been doing, good riddance. Whether he did it or not, I think that's what his mindset is anyway.
Drove vehicles, a white tractor trailer, white cab, white trailer, failed to maintain lane, driving with flashers on. Authority of Texas County 911, troops you clear 1917.
That is a messy precinct.
Falling off.
Yeah, a little bit.
Y'all don't think that's a messy precinct? That don't look kept at all, man.
Got him?
Come on, people. Do better.
I walk right over by that door.
Looks like my garage. I probably own a police station. I didn't know.
seated around a bench.
Here's the other thing. He doesn't even seem to care that he's in cuffs. It's just hitting me. You are the one that lived there. Your grandmother died, but they got you in cuffs? And you don't have a problem with that? Of all the signs that tells me he did it, this one tells me he did it the most. Cuffs? Don't care. That's wild. That's just hitting me like this dude's in cuffs, being questioned, and he don't have a care about it. He must have expected it.
After his arrest, the case moved quickly through the Howell County judicial system. Hearn was charged with first-degree murder, first-degree arson, and armed criminal action. During hearings, he argued that he was carrying out his grandmother's request to end her life, raising a debate about intent and accountability. Prosecutors, however, found no evidence of such an agreement and maintained that the decision to set the fire was entirely his own. In 2024, Hearn entered an Alford plea to second-degree murder, acknowledging the strength of the evidence against him while never admitting guilt. The plea brought the trial to an end and resulted in a 24-year prison sentence in the Missouri Department of Corrections, closing a case in which long-standing family tensions and dependence culminated in irreversible tragedy.
24 years for murder. I guess it's efficient, but at the same time, heck no. Elderly woman, unsuspecting, arson, 24? Okay, well, hey. I'm not the one that does it. I'm not the judge, jury, or executioner. Y'all might think that that's a fair, I don't know, fair? If you think it's fair, let me know. If you think it's too little, you let me know that too. But this was a wild one. If you have problems with your family members, either talk it out or leave them alone. This shouldn't be the outcome. If you have a disagreement with anybody, leave them alone or talk it out. Just a thought. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll catch you on the next one.
One wrong move turn the present into the past. I don't ride for nobody, no badge, no crew. Truth don't play favors, it just come through. I don't take sides, I take time and review. So to put it, let the context break through. If you clean, that stamp stay true. If you foul, that show up too. No miss, no spin, no cover up hype. Everything judge in plain sight.